The night air hung heavy over the village, thick with the scent of damp earth and wood smoke. Amina crept silently through the shadows, her bare feet barely making a sound on the packed dirt. She paused at the edge of the clearing, eyes fixed on the small stream that gurgled softly in the darkness. Her heart pounded in her chest as she glanced back at the cluster of mud brick huts behind her. No lights flickered in the windows. The village slept. Amina took a deep breath and stepped into the moonlight. She had waited all day for this moment, enduring the scorching heat and endless chores. Now, with the cool night air on her skin, she felt alive. Alive and afraid. The warnings echoed in her mind as she approached the water's edge. Never bathe at night, the elders had said. Evil spirits roam in the darkness. But the day had been so hot, and the stream looked so inviting. Surely a quick dip wouldn't hurt? She dipped a toe into the water, shivering at its coolness. The surface rippled, distorting her reflection. For a moment, Amina thought she saw something else staring back at her, eyes gleaming in the darkness. She jerked back, heart racing. "Just my imagination," she whispered, forcing herself to step into the stream. The water swirled around her ankles, then her knees as she waded deeper. It felt wonderful after the heat of the day. Amina cupped her hands, splashing water over her face and arms. That's when she heard it. A low, rhythmic thumping, like a drum beating underwater. Amina froze, straining her ears. The sound grew louder, closer. The water around her legs began to churn. With a strangled cry, Amina scrambled for the shore. Her foot slipped on a mossy stone, and she fell, icy water closing over her head. Panic gripped her as something brushed against her leg. She thrashed wildly, fighting to break the surface. Gasping for air, Amina clawed her way onto the muddy bank. She lay there trembling, too terrified to move. The drumming had stopped. The stream flowed peacefully, as if nothing had happened. Slowly, Amina pushed herself to her feet. Her soaked wrapper clung to her skin as she stumbled back towards the village. She had nearly reached the first hut when a gnarled hand grabbed her arm. "Foolish child," rasped a familiar voice. It was Nana Esi, the village elder. Her milky eyes seemed to pierce the darkness as she studied Amina's dripping form. "You bathed in the stream at night, didn't you?" Amina nodded, unable to speak. Nana Esi's grip tightened. "Come," she said, pulling Amina towards her hut. "We must cleanse you before it's too late." Inside, Nana Esi lit a small fire. The flames cast eerie shadows on the walls as she mixed herbs in a clay bowl. Amina huddled by the fire, shivering despite its warmth. "Drink," Nana Esi commanded, thrusting the bowl into Amina's hands. The liquid was bitter, making Amina gag. But she forced herself to swallow every drop under the elder's watchful gaze. "Now sleep," Nana Esi said, spreading a mat on the floor. "And pray the spirits do not find you in your dreams." Amina lay down, her eyes heavy. As she drifted off, she thought she heard drumming in the distance. The next morning, Amina awoke with a start. Sunlight streamed through the doorway of Nana Esi's hut. For a moment, she felt relief. It had all been a bad dream. But then she saw the mud caked on her feet and the damp wrapper beside her. It hadn't been a dream at all. Nana Esi sat in the corner, her unseeing eyes fixed on Amina. "You're lucky," she said softly. "The spirits could have taken you." Amina shuddered, remembering the thing that had brushed her leg in the water. What was it?" she whispered. Nana Esi shook her head. "There are things in this world we cannot understand, child. Ancient things that lurk in the shadows and the depths. They hunger for the living, especially the young and foolish who venture out at night." She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Long ago, when I was a girl like you, I too ignored the warnings. I went to the stream at midnight, thinking to cool off after a hot day. But something was waiting for me in those waters." Amina listened, wide-eyed, as Nana Esi described a creature with glowing eyes and long, grasping fingers. It had nearly dragged her under, she said, before she managed to break free. "Since that night, I've never been able to see properly," Nana Esi finished, gesturing to her clouded eyes. "The spirits took my sight as payment for my life." Amina felt sick. She remembered the eyes she thought she'd seen in her reflection, the thing that touched her in the water. How close had she come to a similar fate? "What do I do now?" she asked, her voice trembling. Nana Esi's expression softened. "For now, you rest. The cleansing ritual should protect you. But you must be careful, Amina. The spirits have tasted your presence now. They may come looking for you again." As if on cue, a cool breeze swept through the hut, making the dying embers of the fire flicker. Amina pulled her wrapper tighter around her shoulders. "Remember," Nana Esi said, her milky eyes seeming to stare right through Amina. "Never bathe at night. And if you hear drumming in the darkness, run. Run, and don't look back." Amina nodded solemnly. She would never forget this night, or the terror she had felt in those dark waters. As she stepped out of Nana Esi's hut into the bright morning sun, the village seemed different somehow. Shadows lurked in corners where she had never noticed them before. The stream's cheerful gurgling now held a menacing undertone. She hurried home, keeping her eyes fixed on the dusty path. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her, waiting for night to fall once more. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Amina huddled close to the fire with her family. Her little brother begged for a story, but for once, she had no tales to tell. Her mind was filled with memories of cold water and grasping hands. As darkness settled over the village, a familiar sound drifted on the night air. Drumming, faint but steady, coming from the direction of the stream. Amina's blood ran cold. Her mother frowned, cocking her head to listen. "Strange," she murmured. "Who would be playing music at this hour?" Amina said nothing, but her eyes met Nana Esi's across the fire. The old woman nodded gravely, confirming Amina's worst fears. The spirits were calling, hungry for what they had been denied the night before. Clutching her little brother close, Amina silently vowed never to venture out after dark again. Some warnings, she now knew, were meant to be heeded. For in the night, in the depths of seemingly peaceful waters, ancient hunger stirred. And they were always watching, always waiting, for those foolish enough to ignore the wisdom of the elders. As the drumming grew louder, Amina whispered a prayer to whatever benevolent forces might be listening. She prayed for protection, for herself and for the village. But most of all, she prayed that others would learn from her mistake. For in this world of shadows and spirits, a moment's carelessness could cost far more than one was willing to pay.